in the streaming world of what he believes to be of quality. But there is, unseen by most, an episodic horror-based TV show. A show that still holds up. A show called Tales from the Dark Side.
Dream forever. What are you, some kind of hippie undertaker?
I can offer you power over the one thing you can't intimidate, Mr. Corelli. Death.
Welcome back to Talks from the Dark Side, the podcast where we talk about Tales from the Dark Side, the horror anthology television show created by Richard Rubinstein and George Romero. I'm Joel Escola.
I'm Sean O'Rourke.
And I'm Chris Barr.
Today we're talking about A Choice of Dreams, directed by Gerald Cotts and written by James Houghton and Edward Shaver, with an original air date of May 4th, 1986.
So Abe Vigoda is back in the movie dumpster universe, but finally on Tales from the Dark Side, guys.
We're crossing over, dude, onto the dark side. The MDU spills over. You got Abe Vigoda. He's delivering the cows in Prancer in the barn.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about
That's what he was
right,
in.
he was in that.
We
Yeah,
covered
yeah.
that, yes. And of course, the one that this episode loves to remind us about with a very poor rendition of the theme, Godfather.
Yes.
He's in that as Tessio.
Yeah, this is like this episode is like the great value, like Godfather, more or less.
Kind of.
A little bit. The music puts it over the edge.
It's interesting because this is not the last time we'll see mobster-related stories in this series.
They're so easy to. They're just like they're low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
you know?
I mean, even the odds, there's not quite mob shit, but it's in that direction.
Yeah.
Bookies.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, a little bit.
Riding the line.
So going back to the writer James Houghton, just a quick scroll through IMDb. I don't know if you saw this, Joe. He's actually the dad from Purple People Eater.
Yeah, man, I totally saw that. And, you got some Doogie Howser in there, but he's also Reverend Thompson in Superstition, which is pretty fucking wild. That blew my mind more than Purple People Eater.
Right. That's a fun little one. And that's a weird credit to see in IMDb.
Yeah.
Especially for a writer. Not that they don't write, act, and do other things, but it's always interesting when you do see that you're right.
And it's like that happens a few episodes with this show. It's like you'll see the writer and like go to the credits, like, what has he done? But then the acting roles is like triple the length.
Oh,
It's a ton.
It's like, oh, sweet. They've actually done other stuff.
And that's cool, too, because, like, he was also in a zone. He was in The Last Rites of Jeff Myrtlebeck.
Oh, wow.
I don't remember that one.
That's the one where the dude wakes up at his own funeral.
Okay.
And people
Yeah,
are like,
yeah.
oh, okay, it's Jeff.
Yeah.
But he's like not what he appears to be, quote unquote,
Right,
which is
yeah.
kind of akin to A Case of the Stubborns or like even Bobby from Trilogy of Terror and something like not the same exact thing,
Yeah,
but
but
kind
close
of.
enough, yeah.
More of in a weird sense. Like we were talking before we started the show, and like zones are more like
Supernatural or
supernatural, but like
altered reality.
the altered state of reality.
Or
Where
your
it's like, oh,
perspective.
you were dead, but I guess you're back now. And
Yeah.
he's walking around like, wait a second, I was dead.
Yeah, it's like real heavy on the drama and like just
Yeah.
the story and everything.
100%.
Not that Tales doesn't have its mind fucks, but Twilight Zone is kind of known for them.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, it's like this show compared to Twilight Zone is a little more like experimental, more or less.
Yeah.
And if you agree with that, it's like they get to kind of roll the dice with like what they deal with the stories and how everything's handled. Like there's more creatures and stuff, and it's like I love Twilight Zone. Don't get me wrong, but like here we get to play around a little bit with like the making some creatures and just weird stuff.
I think Tales specifically is more like supernatural based, like you're saying. Like it deals all. I mean, not that there aren't zones with like killer dolls or the devil or things like that, but like it's heavy in Tales from the Dark Side.
Yeah.
It's ghosts or beyond things from supernatural forces from beyond the grave, the devil, monsters, all kinds of stuff, and it's full force too.
Yep. It definitely feels like a product of the 80s.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which is always fun.
There's nothing insinuated.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely episodes that feel like zones that we've talked about, but it's more, it's more horror forward, I guess, is my point.
And now that we're sort of like, almost to the end of season 2, where you sort of get the gist. If you're following along with the episodes, it's like you get the gist of the show now and like what it's capable of and sort of like also its shortcomings.
Yeah.
So.
And you feel it.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
A lot of the time. Before we keep going, though, I got a little surprise, not only for you, but for the watchers, the YouTube watchers. So every episode, Chris reads the synopsis from the Fangoria Tales from the Dark Side episode guide. So what I did was I tracked down the actual Fangoria issue that has the Tales from the Dark Side
That's sweet.
episode guide.
So now we got a physical copy.
So now we have a physical copy
Awesome.
of the Fangoria issue.
Oh, that's great.
So now you can like check it out.
I get the honor of reading
You
from,
can actually
a
read it
physical
from
Fangoria.
the Fangoria that it
That's
was
so cool.
published in.
You can
April-
even see
so-
the eyeglasses ad on the back if you
Yeah.
like.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, so this is from all right, April 1992. All right, let's find the episode guide.
So Tales from Dark Side's over, and we're right into monsters.
Oh, that's right.
By
yeah,
the time
92.
this comes
yeah.
out,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Oh, it's even a little like pull-out poster.
Yeah, remember those, dude?
Oh, that's sweet.
Isn't
Oh,
that
God.
awesome?
Yeah.
You got.
I just
you
see
got
Jerry Stiller on
Oh
the
wait,
back.
yeah. Here's
Yeah,
Jerry
there you
Stiller on
go.
the back.
the Devil's Advocate.
That's so cool. All right, here's Choice of Dreams from the Fangoria, the physical Fangoria Horror Spectacular episode issue.
Official.
This is so cool. Dying of cancer, a mafia kingpin engages the services of a scientist who promises the crime boss a chance for eternal life. Using the facilities of a dream laboratory, quote, the scientist is able to extract human brains and program them with the subject's choice of pleasant dreams for eternity. But once the mobster agrees to this arrangement, the doctor sends him into an endless, inescapable nightmare.
Well, that's the episode,
Yeah, thanks for
folks.
coming.
Yep,
See you later.
and that's it.
Yeah.
I hate when they do that.
That's
They could've
all
just
she wrote.
excised that last sentence and it would have been fine,
Right.
but okay.
Add a little bit more mystery to it.
A little suspense, yeah.
A little bit.
End it with like dream laboratory. What's the doctor up to?
Yeah.
Does he have ulterior motives?
I mean, like literal dream laboratory, a choice of dreams, TM laboratory.
It's like kind of it kind of gives the whole thing away,
Yeah.
which is fine. It's done it before, but it is funny to see how they wrote this, and we've made fun of like
Oh,
just
yeah.
the descriptions before, but yep, there's a spoiler one again.
There you go.
Yep.
Now you talked a little about James Houghton, the writer of this, but the director Gerald Cotts actually has done a bunch of other Tales from the Dark Side episodes and Monsters
Yeah,
episodes.
which is always fun. It's
Which
like
is
we always
awesome.
like note on that, and that's cool to see.
But he's credited as Jerry Smith on those episodes, so I never kind of put the two together.
That's strange.
And
Was he like embarrassed by those episodes or was it just a pen name?
I highly doubt it because he did a bunch of them, and he did like New York Honey and
Yeah.
Parents from Space, which are two great
Oh,
episodes.
New York Honey's great.
New York
Yeah, I
Honey's
love that
great.
one.
Parents from Space is awesome too, with what's his face, the original Riddler. What the fuck's his name?
Oh, you put me on the spot. I do know it. It's escaping
Frank
me.
Gorshin.
Frank Gorshin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
he's-
and the mom in that is from
Painkiller.
That's right.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
episode?
Yeah.
With, please don't help
Yeah,
me.
his wife Harvey.
Oh,
Yeah,
God,
she's
okay.
in that. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, there's a lot of overlap in these, and it's always fun seeing who pops up and what.
Yeah, totally.
That's like Columbo. Leslie Nielsen's on like 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Totally different
Yeah.
characters. One
Yeah.
he gets killed, I think, and one he's the bad guy. But it's interesting when
Yeah.
you're right.
So yeah, guys, Abe Vigoda is here.
This
Joining
time he
us.
didn't break his ass in Good Burger.
Yeah, he broke my ass. Oh yeah, he was also in Good
Yeah,
Burger.
Good Burger.
Burger,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what I knew him from.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, he plays Jake Corelli, and he's a mob boss who's pretty much on his deathbed. He's got 4 months to live because he's got terminal cancer.
Which he only just found out.
Well,
He's been coughing up a lung for months. He's like, I just got told by my doctor.
it's just from my stogies. But his doctor comes in and he's a real asshole. Like, I mean,
Yeah, to the doctor.
well, no, the doctor's an asshole to him, but I'd be like, I'd be
They're both
watching
combative.
my fucking mouth. This is a mob boss you're talking
Oh
to.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true. And he even
he's like-
threatens him in the process.
He's like,
you're
yeah,
right.
Mr. Corelli, you're about to die
Yeah,
in
he
4
does
months.
have an attitude. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
You know, you're a horrible person, Mr. Corelli. You know, you all the people that you bring to my hospital, you know, I can't help them.
Well, he's talking about all the drug dealers or the people on drugs that are affected by him, and he's like kind of going off on him
Yeah.
about that.
And when he's like when he's giving him an attitude, it's like, did he like kill someone that you're like? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, he may have
That you
because he
know?
insinuates it. He's like, you know, I can't help any of the people that come into my hospital that you
Yeah.
victimize. So I wanted to look into your eyes and see what you look like when your impending doom is coming.
Which is interesting because that's actually weirdly a through line in this episode of him like looking into people's eyes to kind of read their inner self, I guess. Because he
Yeah.
looks at this doctor and he's like, yeah, I don't know if I believe what you're saying.
Pizza's gonna be sending out for you.
Yeah, that comes up like 3 times,
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 times throughout this.
Yeah.
It's like, let me look in your eyes.
But I kind of like that because like it gives a little bit more depth to Abe's character where he like is a judge of people's character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that in a little bit later.
Judge, jury, and executioner.
Yeah. Because it really hits hard in a little bit.
Yes, yes.
So he's basically smart mouthing Abe Vigoda, and Abe Vigoda's like, "Oh yeah, how about that?" And he's like, "I hope you don't like your job too much, because I'm about to call the fucking district
the
attorney."
General, what is he?
I don't know.
The head
attorney,
guy.
the attorney general of the hospital or some shit.
Well, then he goes, never underestimate the power of money. And I'm like, the human will?
Yeah. Oh,
No
could've
money.
been
Yeah,
human,
on
though.
that one too. Yeah. The part I thought was funny is like his first instinct is to like try to bribe the doctor.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, make this cancer go away.
No, I mean, he wasn't even bribing him. He was just being like, "Oh, you think that's funny? You making fun of me like that?"
Well, then he's like, oh, you know how much money I have?
Yeah.
And it's like implying that he can like
Yeah.
bribe
Like,
terminal cancer.
Well, he's like, no amount of money you have can save you or whatever, and he's like, yeah, but you'll lose your job. And Angelo, his buddy's like, that's a good one, boys. That's hilarious. Now we were talking before the show
Yes.
started. Do you guys know?
I have
don't know
no
who this is?
idea
No,
who
who
this
that's
guy
supposed
is.
to be?
The dock workers just called. They said the Titanic just arrived.
Well, that's why they only gave him one line in that movie, and they had Cheech Marin just fucking pantomime, because this
Better late than
guy
never.
is fucking horrible in this episode.
I think he's fine.
I think he's really bad. Some of the line delivery is like, "Bush!" It's like way too comical for me.
I mean, he might just be hamming it up, but I don't
He's
think
hamming
I don't
it
think
up.
it's too bad.
Well, thankfully, he doesn't have a lot of lines.
Ralph
And
Monaco.
thankfully, it gets taken care of.
Thanks, boys. Ralph Monaco. Who do you like better? Do you like Angelo or do you like Horace from The Odds?
Oh, Horace, absolutely. He's
Yeah.
getting those soaks, man.
Yeah. You think they have like wise guy sidekick
Yeah.
like boxing
Right.
matches
Like a
somewhere?
support group. Like a
Well,
church
Danny
basement.
Aiello's the fucking booker, man.
That's right.
He's collecting the
How much
money.
you got on Horace?
Wait, maybe they're all like part of the same like crime syndicate.
I
or
think
something.
so.
Oh my
Same
God.
family.
Dude, they're hanging out.
Yeah.
They're getting soaks down at the bar.
Right.
He's fixing the horse races.
They got,
Abe
what's his,
Vigoda.
they got what's his face? I think he actually did kill himself, but what's his face? Tom Noonan, who got knocked off. Abe Vigoda was involved
Yeah.
somehow.
There's a whole backstory here. That's how we get his $10 million from horse racing.
Right? Yeah. There you go. It's all
It
connected.
lines up.
He actually had Tom Noonan knocked off.
Yeah.
That's fucking.
You just
great.
never knew. Danny Aiello didn't know it.
Yeah.
Tom Noonan didn't know. That was a
Yeah,
secret.
walks behind him. Can I ask you a personal question?
I like boxing.
Blam! Take that, Tom Noonan.
You like little bites, fucking Tom Noonan?
Look at the flowers.
But then, like, after the doctor is basically forced out of the room, he's like, I ain't gonna die easy. And he instantly falls over coughing. Like,
Yeah.
Give me a scotch.
Well, like the terrible shit he says to him. He's like, men like you don't die easy from this, Mr. Corelli. When the Caesars and the nightmares start,
Yeah.
and he's like, all that bad shit's gonna come back to bite you in the ass. He said, get the fuck out of here.
The karma, yeah.
Yeah, not even karma. Like, he's just gonna have those memories flash back, and as we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, he gets the bottle of scotch, and I love that too because he fucking drains this bottle. He like drinks the whole thing.
Conked out, but
Yeah.
this is also
he's like Eddie Valiant, at his desk.
It just like slams it back.
Yeah. Didn't you used to be Abe Vigoda? I heard you change your name to John Jameson.
Well, yeah, he's been drinking it so much. Yeah, exactly. But this is the first time you get this inkling of what his dreams are. And at first, you don't really know who it is, but you know it's a woman, and they're kind of pleasant. And we'll hold on that thought, but it'll be relevant soon.
You also get a little bit of what you assume to be his father.
Oh,
and
you
he's
do
like-
get that
yeah.
there?
and he-
Okay.
but you only hear voices. You don't see the images, I don't think.
He sounds more violent than the woman. Let's
He's
put
like,
it that way.
I'm gonna beat you, you little worm, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, he says something like implied. It's like when he was a kid and like knocked over some convenience store or something like that.
Yeah. So this doctor comes in and gives him this card. It's called the Afterlife.
Oh, yeah, not Ryan Reynolds.
Not,
And not Lifebomb.
not
Oh,
like
God. Yeah.
Abe, Mr. Vigoda, Mr. Corelli, can I interest you in the Lifebomb?
That's the thing. It's like we have the Tales from the Dark Side like crime family. Then there's a Tales from the Dark Side like
Doctor family.
medical aspect. Like you got Lifebomb, Afterlife.
Lifebomb's going on
Yeah.
next door,
Oh, yeah.
dude.
Wait, even some episodes we haven't gotten to yet have some more doctors
Yeah,
in it.
yeah.
A lot of
Also
doctors.
true.
They all operate at the same like strip mall.
Yeah.
They were
The
all
medical plaza.
There's the walk-in, there's the psychologist, and
Yeah.
then
Right.
there's the dream clinic.
Yeah.
They were all
next
taught.
to Lifebomb.
They were all
Next to
taught by
Lifebomb.
Ian Holm, obviously.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally.
Jack the Ripper or Frankenstein's father, either or.
Also true. So he makes this proposition to Abe Vigoda, and he's like, Mr. Corelli, how would you like to dream forever? You don't have to die. And he's like, how did you know I was going to die? And he's like, I looked at it in the hospital computer, and all of that is known to me because I have a very small clientele because my services are very expensive.
Yep.
How expensive, Joe?
In the $10 million range.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
$10 million, that's all I got.
Well, here's this card. Don't lose it. And the number's only active 10 minutes a day.
There's a strict window that he has to call in, and it's very exclusive. What's so great about it, though, is that eye thing that we were just talking about, because he holds the doctor by his head and he looks in his eyes.
yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
Give me see if you fucking
he like
bullshit.
little Abe Vigoda picks him up.
Oh yeah, out of his chair. Oh no, that's the first doctor.
well,
sorry,
either way.
sorry.
No, you're good, but he does.
Yeah.
He picks him up before he
It's like
kicks
this
him out of
guy's
the
like
office.
90 pounds.
Yeah.
How you picking a man up?
Yeah.
Also, Abe is like fucking 90 at this point.
Right.
But yeah, so he looks in the doctor's eyes and he's like completely stone faced looking at him. And like Abe's like the color drains out of his face. He's like, Angelo, get out of here. Leave us alone. I want to hear this man speak. And then he tells him all about this thing where like, you know, we can preserve your brain and you can dream forever. So you don't have to die. Your body will die, but we'll keep your mind alive.
Power over death.
And power over
That's what he
death.
says, yeah.
And that's the only, it's such a banger line. And he's like, I'll give you power of the one thing you can't intimidate, Mr. Corelli, death.
And it's like so far, it's like this is a solid episode.
It's
like
great.
There's like great deliveries, great acting. Besides Angelo,
I mean,
but
I didn't like it. Maybe it's not as bad as I thought,
he
but
plays the henchman role.
he stands out
Good,
because of it.
The doctor just arrived.
Yeah. But yeah, there's like lines like that. You have some really like good quotes and like delivery in here.
It's
and
really
everything.
written well.
Yeah.
And in a second, then like Sean was saying before he breaks the news to him, he's like, well, how much does this procedure cost? And he's like, it is $10 million. Like completely stone faced. He's like, what? He almost had, what are you talking about?
And like that 10-minute window, he's like, you got to call between 12 and 10 past. And he's like, okay, yeah, whatever.
So now we're getting into the throes of more of he's having the seizures again. He's having the nightmares again.
He's
this
got a
time.
blanket on now.
Yeah, this time he has the nightmare about his dad, like beating him as a kid, and it's like super vivid for him, and it scares the shit out of him.
Yeah, like little like floating like you know heads and everything. Also the just another fun little like IMDb credit here.
Yeah.
So the dad here, he's in it for maybe a total of like 15 seconds this whole episode. So the dad here is Uncle Junior from The Sopranos.
Oh, that's what you were talking
Yep.
about. No
Yeah.
shit.
Yep.
Now that's
I looked it up.
funny.
I'm like, what is he? Because I'm not a big Sopranos person.
Did
but I
Uncle
saw
Junior
that.
ever go after anybody with a fucking rope?
Right? Yeah. Right.
Well, what's fucked up about that is he says like he insinuates that he tied up Abe Vigoda. He's like, you're not gonna run away from me when I beat the shit out of you. So he tied him up and beat the shit out of him as a kid.
Yeah, and
which
like
is fucked up.
You don't really know as an audience member yet, like if it's his wife or his mother. You just know it's a female figure. But then you start to get that side of it. Oh, she's nice to him, but there's something not right. You don't know what it is yet.
Something's mysterious there.
So he wakes up scared, and Angelo's there. And I just want to add this because it adds a little bit more weight to his thought process. And you know, he's like, you know why I killed that cop, Angelo? And he's like, oh, boss, why'd you kill him? And he's like, because he put my hands behind my back and cuffed me. Nobody does that to me. So I fucking killed him. And then when the next time I got arrested, nobody laid a finger on me. They knew.
Yeah.
Hey, you got it, boss.
You're so funny, boss. Okay, how about that?
Talk about murdering somebody because they. Okay.
So
he's hardcore.
He makes the choice of dreams, TM, and he calls up the guy and he books the appointment. And
Well, hold on. First, he fucks up. He waits too long,
that's
and he's
right.
like rushing in his drawer trying to find the card, and he
Right.
calls it 12:11, and it disconnects.
Yeah.
And then there's like a short scene where he's like panicked about it. We gotta find this guy's number, and
Right.
then he gets the appointment.
That's right, because he has Angelo like contact the FBI and shit looking for this guy.
Trying to track him. He's like, you can find anybody. Track him down.
Yeah.
This was like, this part lost me a little bit because it's like, I guess it's like he didn't want to call. He wasn't buying it. You know, didn't believe that the doctor was, legit. And I guess, the more weight on him of like his own mortality and everything, I guess that's
100%.
what's going on here.
It's also like the power that this guy has kind of at play too.
Yeah.
He also like at that point is like telling Angelo, sell our Chinese stock, sell our Amazon stock.
Well, he's
sell our Fuddruckers stocks, or Good Burger stocks.
Good Burger stock. Yeah.
Don't take all that stuff out of
And he's
Mondo
like,
Burger.
Sell the Mondo Burger.
Yeah. Why you want to get rid of that, old boss? He's like, just do it.
Well, no,
I don't want to die with all this money.
He withdraws all the money
Yeah.
because he's like $10 million. It has to be cash. So he withdraws all the money from all these accounts. And Angelo's like, what are you doing? He's like, well, I got to make sure that I give it to the people because I don't want the money to go to waste or something.
Yeah, he also implies there's like 2 other mob bosses he's going to have taken care of.
Yeah, and Angelo's like, okay, that makes sense. I'll take out $10 million cash and bring it to the fucking estate of Jack Corelli.
Yeah.
Or Jake Corelli, excuse me. So he goes down to see the doctor, and he's in. Now, this is so cool because
this is cool.
This takes you off guard because it's like this black void with this white table.
Yeah, this is a weird little room. It's like you have the feel of like the Satanic Panic episode.
Yeah.
That little lab with like the synthesizer in the back and everything. But this is like just blacked out. There's only one little weird table.
Yeah, it feels like Dreamscape or like Altered States.
Yeah.
Kind of the way that it feels and the way that it's shot.
It's
almost.
like very surreal.
Yeah.
I like it a lot because all the shots of like just them, you don't see like the operation table or anything. It's just this black void behind him. It's very
it's very striking.
Yeah,
especially with like
encapsulating.
just like the white table, but it's like futuristic looking with like
It
this
is,
light
yeah.
on him. So he shoots him up and with this stuff to make him go to sleep because he's basically testing him. He's like, how do I know you're not just going to kill me and take my money and all this stuff? So he's like, no, it's a test. He's like, I wouldn't put. He's oddly protective of him because he's like, I still don't have the 10 million, so I'm gonna show you this
quite
works.
invested in you, Mr. Corelli.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gain nothing for just killing you without
Sure.
the money.
So he puts him to sleep and he basically manipulates his brain.
Well, he puts that thing on that fucking Egon created.
Oh yeah, he's got the Rick Moranis fucking
The helmet.
Yeah, the helmet, the strainer.
Well, I mean, it's attached to his fucking brain straight
Yeah,
up.
He heard her voice say Zool for sure. So he has this dream and the guy's able to watch his dreams and see his thoughts and kind of control it. So he makes sure that whenever he sees Abe Vigoda not having a good time from his memory, he makes sure to like not show him that and show him a good one where he smiles. And he's like, that was incredible. That was fantastic. I saw my wife, Marie, and she was beautiful. She was my everything.
Well, in the same breath, though, there are moments there where you finally get the reveal that Marie was a drunk, and you get more of him getting beat by his dad. He's like, yeah, but some of that other stuff, like, that wasn't good. Why was that in there? And then the doc, or whatever you want to call him, the scientist, is like, well, yeah, I was tweaking it. We're getting it fine-tuned.
Yeah, that's okay. You won't experience any of that bad stuff. I promise.
Yeah. So you get to see like what his dreams are, like what his good dreams are, what his nightmares are. It's like Vanilla Sky.
That's a great example.
Yeah, he's basically like, I don't want to see this bad stuff, and he's like, you won't, Mr. Corelli, don't worry about it. So he goes back to the office and he calls Angelo in, and he's like, Angelo, have a drink with me, kiddo, and he pours him a scotch. he's like, you know, how come you never offered me? You had all the chances to do it. He's like, oh, boss, you know, I already made it. I was at the top. I didn't have to kill you.
That's what he sounds like too. Exactly.
Yeah,
Literally. It's not an exaggeration. Joe's good at these impressions, but that's spot on, man.
That's kind of what I do. That's why I exist. To do voices.
Okay.
So
Henchman and Abe Vigoda.
But it's kind of an interesting scene because it's like literally like the only friend in the world you fucking have. Like he's literally telling you like, yeah, I was just happy to be working with you, even though we're fucking scumbag pieces of shit. I was happy.
And he's like pretty sincere here.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, can I ask you a person? He's like, you've been with me for years, and
he's like, how come? He's like, I didn't have to, boss. He's like, you know, I love you. No, he doesn't say I love you, but
he implies it more or less.
He's basically like, I'd do anything for you.
Yeah.
And Abe Vigoda's like, great. That's why I'm going to give you all the $10 million. And he's like, boss, now that's something. You got to be kidding me. Oh, boss. So he goes around and he's like, you've earned it, kiddo. And he takes a sip and he fucking pulls out a gun and shoots him right. He gives him the old blammo.
Yeah.
So to put this into context, this fucking scumbag drained his bank accounts.
yeah.
Okay? Instead of just dying, he drains his bank accounts,
Well, 'cause he's selfish.
kills his main
His
dude,
only friend in the world.
His only friend in the world, and gives all that money to this fucking doctor guy to preserve his brain so
Forever.
that he may dream forever.
So we can get put in a fucking robo brain from Fallout.
So he can get put inside of Kane, the Kane robot.
Yeah, right. It's RoboCop too. Yeah. There's a lot of references you could make for
Oh my
sure.
God,
Just put in the clip here.
I mean, there's even if you saw,
Vigoda's in there.
you know, what'd be funnier in the Fallout show. There are those giant robots in the games, but in the show they had a small ass like Roomba with a fucking brain, and it put him in that.
Oh, could have been. Or they put him in a fucking...
Stand still with the needle.
yeah, exactly.
Terry Kaiser can also put him in an animatronic T-Rex
Oh my
as well.
god,
Oh, yeah.
that would be
Maybe
too
an
good.
animatronic Triceratops.
Yeah, he's gonna fuck Denise Richards. Okay, there's some messed up letters there.
Bingo, Dino, Dingus.
But yes, he gets the operation, and like we're joking about, his brain is literally removed, and
Cuts his
now
brain out.
the doctor decides to reveal his plan to the audience.
This is so good, though.
Yeah.
And like right here, it's like, I mean, sort of all through the episode, it's like with the doctor, it's like you're starting to kind of like, you know, make your own like thoughts of like where it's headed. It's like, oh, did the doctor lose someone to this guy and he's trying to get revenge, and this is his own like elaborate scheme to pay him back?
Yeah.
Right, or is he just actually helping this guy?
Yeah.
The best part about it is like this guy is like the Punisher if he was a scientist.
Yeah, seriously.
Pretty much,
Right?
yeah.
Like he takes the money from Corelli, takes his brain out, puts him in the fucking dish like Whisperer in Darkness in the canister, and he's like, And he's like, you were a very bad man, Mr. Corelli. And he's like, and then you see like all the dreams, and it's like his wife, and she's like drinking. He's like, I drank more than any other broad because my husband's a murderer, and fuck you or whatever.
So it's like all those like dreams that he was filtering and like seeing before. Now it's all the worst parts of the dreams.
Turns it up to 11 on the bad shit.
Breaks off the knob. Yeah, pretty much.
This is one guy Dexter's gonna give a free pass if he ever finds him. Like, you know what? He's doing the same kind of shit I am.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah. But it's just a banger because he's like, "Welcome to hell, Mr. Corelli."
Oh God.
And like,
Abe Vigoda, I'm sorry.
Don't hit me, Dad. But like, it's so good because like the idea, like when you really process this episode, and you're like, man, your brain is just being kept alive, and the thoughts and experiences, like the worst experiences of your whole life, are constantly on loop.
It's like, imagine the feeling of like not be, it's like we've all had those nights. It's like wide awake at night trying to get to sleep, and your brain's just like just nonstop.
Yeah,
it's like just shut up so I can go to sleep, and it doesn't.
And
it's like, imagine like an eternity.
Well, and the added element, because Abe even says that, like, I kind of felt that. Like, am I supposed to feel that? Like, well, that's just part of it. So, like, he's actually in pain during this.
Yeah.
Well, or his brain thinks he's in pain.
It's very vivid, he says.
Yeah.
So, I guess he does feel it.
Those neurons are going off, firing off.
Yeah, man. So, that it's like literal hell.
Actual hell, yeah.
And there's like a row of these fucking jars.
Yeah, it pans out and shows like a whole bunch of other ones, like all lined up. It's like, who are these other guys?
And he's like right up to the glass, like mocking him. It's
and at one point, I
impactful.
think little bit before this, he mentions, I was like, a lot of my
your
clients
friends
are like your colleagues and like people in your circle.
Yeah.
So it's like, what is this guy's deal?
He's taking him out, dude. He's Frank Castle, PhD.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's beautiful.
And I kind of wanted, like I said, like, you kind of like anticipate where the story's going. It's like being used to like the EC Comics and Tales from the Crypt, twists. I thought, like, I was like totally expecting it to be like, you murdered my wife in a hit and run or something, or
Richard!
Some kind of thing like that, where it's like he reveals his big plan at the end.
Yeah.
It's like, I wish it was a little bit of that. It's like, that would have been cute.
Yeah, because we were talking before the episode, and you were like, I don't really like the ending. And I'm like, okay, now I can see like why, because you wanted a little bit more meat there for his like motives.
I wanted a little more like,
you killed my daughter or something.
Something.
Yeah.
Instead of just Dexter killing bad people kind of thing.
Yeah, it kind of feels like it's like and it just happens.
Yeah.
And it just it's too like abrupt.
There's no vengeance element per se.
Yeah. And it's like maybe it doesn't need like the revenge angle, but like just a little more like substance.
Okay.
I just feel like it just, maybe
slightly longer runtime, maybe. Yeah.
Just like 2 minutes.
I think you could have done that though, especially with this one. Yes, the shorter runtime, but I feel like you could have added a little. Yeah.
Just a little more meat on the bone at the end.
I think they want that to be the reveal. Because, like, I wasn't really honestly thinking that. I mean, once you mention EC Comics, I should be thinking about it, but in the moment, I forget sometimes. But that is a good point that I feel like most people probably are thinking in that direction when they watch this show.
Yeah, but I mean, so what do we think of this? What's our final pieces on this?
I thought this was one of the best episodes of the season. I really like Abe Vigoda, so maybe I'm a little biased on that. And the whole brain in a jar thing is just like science fiction shit for me. Like, I'm talking about Fallout, but that is like in so many different sci-fi things, and it's kind of I guess cool would be the word I would use, at least to see this in Tales from the Dark Side, because I know I think we talked about this a little earlier, but like there's a lot of supernatural stuff in this show, but this is like straight up sci-fi. And the only other one that comes to mind for this season specifically is the first one, Hopgosh, because we don't really get a lot of straight up sci-fi. I'm forgetting some.
The Impressionist.
The Impressionist, yes. So I like that. I like my sci-fi on my horror show. It kind of blends them well here. And I don't know. It's very good. I don't have a lot more to say. Just the concept is good, and I like the execution of it.
I think it's a decent episode that has some good ideas, but again, it's like the ending sort of just like fell short for me. So it's like I don't totally like. It's like everything up to the ending is like, oh, it's cool. There's a nice little ride and there's some nice drama. And Abe Vigoda is great, but it's like I think the ending just like it's something. It lost it for me. It totally lost it.
I like this one. I've kind of always liked this one. I like the idea because there's not a lot of like mob horror stuff.
That's true.
Like I immediately think of like Innocent Blood, or like there's another episode of Tales. I get confused sometimes. It's either Tales or Monsters, but there's another one coming up with a puppet that we'll talk about. But there's not a lot of like mobster kind of horror, and I think this does it, and it's a little bit more. less goofy and kind of serious.
Yeah, no.
It's very drama forward, which I like about it. And it has to deal with like, you know, death coming for us all, and kind of like that choice of like, if you could live forever, would you do that in this way, or would you just be like, you know what, I'm good, I did my part, I'm
Don't
ready.
put me in a jar.
I'm ready for blackness.
I think there was even a Black Mirror episode that did something like that. Not this, but you know, you get a USB and you stick it in, and there's like a million of them at the end.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Well, it's funny you were talking about like brain in jars through sci-fi, because immediately what I thought of as soon as like his brain is in the jar, I said I mentioned it before with this Whisperer in Darkness, which is a Lovecraft story.
Okay.
Just surface level, but like in that story, the aliens take the people's brains and put them in these canisters, and they promise them like this life where everything's going to be great, and we're going to take you on this crazy journey, but the only way you can take the journey is if we take your brain out and put you in a fucking jar, and you can still hear and see, and it's like a full sensory thing, but you're just a brain. So like I was thinking of that.
So it's like I mean, maybe don't spoil, but is it like a serve man kind of thing?
It's not nice. Let's put it that way. And it's like, you know, the aliens promised the people that like, oh, you're going to see all these great things and blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, they're wearing our fucking skins, and it's a great story.
Okay, I'll have to read that.
It's really good. Whisper in Darkness. But that was just like a surface level kind of thing that I kind of just thought of watching this. But like, yeah, I like how it deals with mortality, and like, I'm glad that he got his comeuppance for being an asshole. Like, it's kind of like he should have made the right decision. He should have gave that money to his buddy or his family or somebody else, or did something. You know, you're on your deathbed, and I feel like a lot of people would try to do something righteous before they passed away, and this asshole just only thought of himself the whole fucking time. So I think it's good in that respect, and like I could agree with you in terms of like maybe it was like, you killed my brother, you dirty rat, something, or like whatever.
Not too over the top. I thought the doctor would have something else, something more to say than just welcome to hell.
Sure. But I think that's a pretty powerful line. And I
is.
like the idea that this guy's not only killing these scumbags, but he's taking all their money and then having them for a suffering in eternity in a jar. I thought that was kind of crazy.
At least until the power turns off.
Yeah, well, he's got a backup
Battery
generator.
backups, I mean, he's got $10 million a pop.
Dude,
like,
I mean, until
at least get some decorations for your office.
This man is king, and he works 3 days a week. No, 2 hours a week.
I mean, honestly, we're talking about connections. This might be connected to a fucking X-Files episode, because there's definitely one where there's a brain in a fucking ice container that's mind controlling somebody.
Oh man,
and the power goes off, and the fucking brain dies.
Oh, that's a great. I love that.
I forgot the name of the episode, but
that's a great idea.
There's like a twin thing.
That's like the brain from Planet Arouse. Yeah. Anyway, or Arrows, however you say that. But yeah, I think it's a good episode. Chris, I know you got some Midnight Madness stuff coming up, dude. Hit us with it.
Yeah, I got lots more Midnight Madness coming up. Lots of screenings, lots of secret screenings of VHS. All sorts of fun stuff coming up ahead. So follow me on Instagram at tape_hell and see what I got coming up next.
You better slip on those leather gloves and whip out that straight razor, because Chris has got Giallo June on Saturday, June 8th at 10 p.m. at Basie Center Cinemas. Midnight Madness is doing a quadruple feature of Blood and Black Lace, Strip Nude for Your Killer, Deep Red, and Torso. Mix and match your double feature for Giallo June, and make sure to come out Saturday, June 8th at 10 p.m. at Basie Center Cinemas on 36 White Street in Red Bank, New Jersey. Grab your tickets now at BasieCenterCinemas.org, and we'll see you there. But yeah, before you get out of here, make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't on YouTube, and if you listen on your favorite podcast app, do us a favor, leave that 5-star review. If you can, it really helps the show. If you're digging Talks from the Dark Side. But until next time, I'm Joe Lascola.
I'm Sean O'Rourke.
And I'm Chris Barr.
Tales from the Dark Side is always there, waiting for us to watch it, waiting for us to hit play. Until next time, try to find it on DVD and watch along with us.